Okay, so today we're going to talk about keyboards. For a long time, like many years, I used only Logitech keyboards. This was my latest one, latest love of my life, the Logitech MX Keys. MX Keys. I used this one for many years here on my desk as my primary work and personal use keyboard. I liked the angle of it. I liked the fact that it had a number pad, even though I don't use numbers all that often. But this was my daily driver. It accommodates 3 different devices with the 1, 2, and 3 keys here. You got the dongle and you got 2 for Bluetooth. And this was just my keyboard. I loved it. It charges via USB-C, and it's quiet and low profile and just delightful. It's heavy and it doesn't move on the desk when I push it. Just a great everyday keyboard, right? How can you go wrong with one of the best reviewed keyboards? Well, I also have a large collection of Bluetooth keyboards, and ever since the Think Outside, if any of you have ever heard of the Think Outside foldable Bluetooth keyboard, rest in peace, it's been dead now for years. I had one, and it was so old. It was probably Bluetooth, maybe Bluetooth 2.0, maybe. That's how many years ago it was. It was a great keyboard, but ever since then, I'd been going through Bluetooth keyboards. How do I find one that I really like? And I had kind of settled on iClever, but then I happened to see someone review a mechanical Bluetooth keyboard, and I was like, oh, I've never used mechanical keyboards. Let's try that out. So that came into my life. Here it is, the Royal Kluge? Is it Kluge? I don't know, it's a terrible brand name, honestly. RK, I would just go with RK and leave the words out of it, but that's what they decided to do. And so what fascinated me about this keyboard wasn't so much that it was mechanical, that intrigued me, but the fact that it folds up lengthwise. This was what really sold this keyboard for me, because if you've ever tried to use a foldable, a traditional tri-fold Bluetooth keyboard in your lap, you know it is an exercise in pointlessness. You can't do anything with it because it buckles in the middle when you're trying to use it in your lap. But this one, because it folds lengthwise, you have the stability left to right. And so in your lap, this would be great, right? You have just that one folding point. And it even has this little stand. I don't use this stand because I mainly use it with my monitors. I have 4 monitors. You can see 2 of them. I've got my tablet covering up one of them, but I have 2 up high as well. And I mainly use it with that. But I also wanted a keyboard that I could travel with. And even though this is pretty thick, it's long, so in my backpack, I can store it this way, lengthwise, and it doesn't take up too much space. It's pretty thick. It's probably 3 inches thick, but it's very usable. And I love the way it felt. The keys feel reasonably light and easy to type on, and the sound is not too loud. I don't know if you can hear how loud that is. It's kind of loud. It's obviously louder than the MX Keys, but not unreasonable, right? Well, I pretty much settled on using this as my desktop keyboard, but then I got an opportunity to review not 1, but 2 additional mechanical keyboards, not folding Bluetooth, just regular. And I was like, all right, well, I've heard this rabbit hole is deep, but let's go. Let's see what happens. So the first one is a relatively well-known brand, at least to me. I'm not a mechanical keyboard person, or I hadn't been, but I had heard of Keychron. And this is the Keychron K2 Max, and it is pretty thick. You've got the little if you want to make it even taller when you're typing. As you can see, Keychron K2 Max. And it's got little rubber feet to keep it from slipping around. And it's pretty heavy, so it's pretty substantial. It does move easier than the Logitech. You can see I can move it. I'm shaking my whole entire desk, but I can move it, but it's pretty stable. It's pretty heavy. And this one does dongle and Bluetooth as well. You can control that here on the side. And you've got the charging port. And it is thick, and this is a desktop keyboard, so it doesn't fold. But the keys are light. They're not excessively heavy, but they are noisier than the foldable. But this is when I think of a mechanical keyboard, this is what it looks like in my mind. This trademark orange key. I've seen keyboards like these on YouTube all over the place. I was like, all right, that's cool. Then I got the other one. Oh my. And this one is a brand I'd never heard of in my whole entire life. Aula, A-U-L-A. This is the AU75. AU75. It also has the little pop-up feet and the rubber grippies. It is a little bit lighter than the Keychron. They're not really that different. But it is a little bit wider because you've got the extra space for these keys over here on the side. But what I really liked about this keyboard was this dial, which you can use to control media volume. I love that. I'm always messing with media volume. And to have it just convenient here and not have to go look for it, you know, the little teeny little icons on Windows where you got to get down there and click and screw around with the slider. No, if you got just that, I love that. That is super convenient, right? So that combined with how this one sounds, I just prefer the sound of this one. Does it require a little bit more force than the Keychron? I do think so. I think the keys are just a little bit harder to press, but I just prefer the sound of these because it is a lower pitch sound. And I'm a person who loves warmth and not brightness in my sound, so this one really appeals to me. But you know, sadly, I'm going to admit to this, what really sold me on this keyboard? It's the lighting. Out of the box, it lights up in my favorite color, purple. I mean, and then you got the green RGBs on the side. I don't normally get hung up on lighting. I really don't, but this purple, and then it's moving around. Yeah, I will admit this sold me on this keyboard. So this is going to be my desktop keyboard now, for better or for worse, probably until another keyboard shows up, honestly. But for now, all of you win. I have been converted to mechanical, and this is the keyboard that will be sitting on my desk for at least the short-term future. Stay tuned to see where it goes from here.